out there maximizing the food presentation opportunities out there. Because if you put something in a container, the diner takes it home, it gets rattled around a bit, then the diner opens it up. It's that experience that you want. Essentially, you want that diner to still leave you a positive review, maybe, or tell their friends and family that this restaurant's a good place to eat. So I'm interested to hear from some restaurants out there. How are you focusing on that?
So, yeah, Alex, I'm sure. This isn't rocket science, right? And I think some of the best restaurants, the restaurants that succeeded during quarantine were the ones that were specific to their culinary target. So Mexican restaurants, Italian. Any of the kits, right? Taco kits worked well. Pizza kits worked well. That got them kind of the marketability of those worked. Cocktail kits. But at the end of the day, what travels well is plastic containers, tins, and just keeping things hot. So it's going to be hi baby.
Should be good now.
So that I think is it's not a business to build a model off of, for sure. And so it's really just to get you by.
Yeah.
I'll give a different view from my perspective. So when we first started doing delivery at my family's restaurant on Eat 24 back in 2008 or 2009, one of the first things that I did was I would package up 20 different items on the menu and drive around in my car for 20 or 30 minutes and then open it up and see how we did. It's not about the food leaving properly, it's about how it arrives. And even if you're putting piping hot French fries or any of these different food items, breakfast items, into the bag and delivering it, it doesn't mean it's going to be a good experience. So you really have to be hands-on with understanding what on your menu is actually going to deliver well. And there's so much technology evolution that's happening in the packaging world right now to keep crispy food crispy and to keep the food to arrive the way that it's intended. And more we're starting to see restaurants sending not just meal kits, but unassembled items. So they're sending all the contents of the ramen and then the broth on the side. So you pour it in yourself so that the noodles don't get overcooked.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out whether Alex, you're done speaking or there's just some static in the background. Thank you for that. Yeah, definitely. That's a good point too, with just doing some tests, right? If you're able to go out there and see what delivers well and what doesn't deliver well. A personal experience I had, not too long ago was, my wife and I ordered dinner for the family. We had maybe 5 or 6 dishes, right? And someone ordered a salad, right? So if someone orders a salad and, they're in styrofoam containers, let's say, now the salad's placed in between 2 hot dishes that are in styrofoam as well, right? So if I get the salad, it comes home, and maybe the lettuce is a little warm, wilted a little bit, right? Chicken's now, sat on the lettuce a little too long, and we got to realize that, hey, listen, these restaurants out there, they're doing their best to serve you food at home, right? So there's that thought, wait, hey, let's not be too critical. Let's not get on social media and say, hey, listen, I got this salad, the lettuce was wilted, the chicken was cold. Hey, listen, folks, you got to realize, right, when the cooks are putting the stuff in the plate, it may look great, right? And then, maybe it goes to the front and the hostess stand, right, until you're ready to pick up. Maybe if you have curbside service, then you got to put it in the car, and you drive home, it gets rattled around. You get it at your dinner table, it's not going to look like, that beautiful dish you would get if you were to go to that restaurant and dine in, but at the same time, I think we got to focus a little bit on just, making sure that the temperature when you get this food, when you get home and you eat it, it's up to, code, right? You don't want to, serve stuff that's been sitting out too long, right? There's certain temperatures by when, even restaurants too, right? When you're when you're storing food after you cook it and then you store it, whether buffets did this or not, you have to make sure that you cool down food, rapidly, or you heat up food rapidly during a certain, there's different standards out there based on, I guess, where the state you live. But at the end of the day, we have to realize, we're all in this together. So, I hope that a lot of these diners out there are realizing that. I don't know, if how restaurants are experiencing their reviews, or whether they're focusing on consumer satisfaction, right? Are they asking for reviews? Hey, listen, if you're happy with your takeout order, if you're happy with our curbside service, please leave us a positive review, because it's still a market, right? We're all in a crazy market now. We're all in it together. There's not one restaurant out there that isn't forced to deal with what's happened due to COVID-19. So we're all on an equal playing field. So, I guess that leads to my next question. What would be some pointers for restaurants out there to kind of, boost that review process and get positive reviews out there? Anybody that wants to
What we did was, anybody that was ordering on Grubhub or those third-party platforms, we got their phone number, or we got any information that we could, and we tried to convert them quickly to using our platform. Whether, we'll give you 10% or we'll throw in a cocktail, and then we built a relationship with them. So when we just opened up our rooftop bar, we're inviting them for a sneak peek, or welcome back to relaunch or reopening. So, I mean, just little things like that. As far as silly responses or reviews during quarantine, or even leading up to the shutdown, some things just don't deserve responses, and some things do. And I think that's a measured approach for an operator. It's one thing, don't pay too much attention to it. Obviously, you want your Google reviews and your Yelp reviews to be high, so your traffic gets up there. And at the end of the day, if your product is good enough, the public will come back. I think what the operation is, quickly pivot to, all right, I don't need as much front of house staff. Let me dedicate it towards delivery, or let me dedicate it towards boots on the ground. And let me shorten my hours of operation. So quickly, we went from being open at 11 a.m., from 10 a.m. to midnight, to 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And our payroll quickly went from, $3,000, to $15,000 a week to $3,000 a week. And you just manage it as best you can.
Sure.
To hyperinflate the reviews, we just put in every order that went out the door, we put a little cookie or free dessert and a little note that just talks about how important this order was for us in this moment, and that we're really struggling as a restaurant, because most people who are ordering from restaurants don't even understand what we're going through. So it's really helpful to just educate them, to say, we laid off 90 employees, our whole wait staff and all the busboys and the bartenders and everyone. And we're doing our best to keep our doors open. And this order specifically is helping us do that. So thank you so much for ordering. Feel free to share it on social media. And by the way, here's some free dessert for you.
That's great, Alex. It's just something so small as a simple note like that can work wonders. So that's definitely a good recommendation. If I own a restaurant out there, I would actually take that advice, right? Because folks, it's real easy to do. I mean, it's just, it's sort of like, when you learn about marketing, it's those touches. Every time you touch a consumer, whether it be through your food or through word of mouth, or you're talking to that consumer, or you're advertising, every chance you get, you should be trying to get a positive experience. And, hey, make them aware. Hey, listen, I know you're aware that the coronavirus is out there, right? But here, just to remind you, since it's out there, right, we're going above and beyond to make sure you can enjoy this meal. So that's great. That's great. Thanks for that answer. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. One experience I want to share is my family and I, we ordered from a restaurant last night for takeout. Well, we wanted a curbside pickup. I'm not going to name the restaurant, but we wanted curbside pickup. So we looked up the restaurant online just to make sure they did curbside pickup, and Google says curbside pickup. There was a green check mark next to it. So I get on the phone and we order the food, and at the end of the conversation, she said that'll be about 45 minutes. Thank you. And I said, whoa, hold on. I want to pay now. She's like, well, you can pay when you come here and you can come inside and pay. I was like, I want to pay now. She's like, well, you need to come inside. I was like, well, your website, right, or Google, it says curbside pickup. Well, that's not right. You know, so point there is make sure that if obviously, you know, you have a lot of control over your website. You can put whatever you want on it, leave whatever you want out. But when now your business is on Google, if Google isn't giving accurate information of your restaurant, you could lose some consumers due to that.